"I can fix this," whispered the grease-covered boy, staring at the luxury car. The millionaire burst into cruel laughter, but in seconds, that kid would do the unthinkable and silence everyone. The engine of the Rolls-Royce Phantom erupted in smoke right in the middle of downtown's Main Avenue, creating a traffic jam that stretched 5 blocks. Edward Harrington slammed the steering wheel so hard his gold ring scratched the imported leather. That car had cost over $150,000 and now sat dead in broad daylight, exposing his vulnerability for everyone to see. "This cannot be happening," he muttered, sweat running down his forehead, despite the still working air conditioning. Around him, drivers honked mercilessly. Some yelled insults out their windows. Edward wasn't used to being treated this way. He owned Harrington Luxury Imports, one of the largest high-end car dealerships in the region, and now his own vehicle was betraying him in front of hundreds of people. He grabbed his phone and called the official dealership. "I need a tow truck now. My Phantom died on the avenue." "Mr. Harrington, our specialized tow is currently on another call. It could take up to 2 hours." 2 hours? Are you insane? I'm not staying here 2 hours being humiliated. "I'm sorry, sir, but that's the estimated time." Edward hung up, fury boiling. He glanced in the rearview mirror and saw the line of cars growing, people already filming with their phones. This would become news, memes, jokes. The great Edward Harrington, expert in luxury vehicles, stranded by his own car. That's when someone knocked on the window. Edward turned, ready to yell, but froze when he saw a boy about 12 years old, covered in grease, wearing an old torn t-shirt. Messy hair fell over intense brown eyes. "Do you need help, sir?" the boy asked. His voice was high but steady. Edward cracked the window just enough. "Get lost, kid. I don't accept handouts." "I'm not asking for a handout. I'm offering to help with the car." Edward's laugh was loud and mean. "Help? You? A filthy little kid want to help with a Rolls-Royce Phantom?" Lucas didn't flinch. He was used to that reaction. "I know what's wrong from the sound the engine made before it died and from the smoke. It's overheating in the cooling system, probably the water pump seized." Edward stopped laughing. How could this child know that? "Listen, kid," he said, stepping out of the car. At 6'1", he towered over Lucas. "I don't know what game you're playing, but this car is worth more than your house. I'm not letting your dirty fingers touch it." "Then you'd rather stay here until the tow arrives?" Lucas pointed at the ever-growing line of cars. "Because from what I see, that's going to take a while." Edward looked around. People were getting out of their vehicles, complaining, some coming closer with phones raised. This was turning into a public spectacle. "My dad works right there." Lucas pointed to a small, grimy garage a few yards away. "We've been fixing cars for years. Can I at least take a look?" "Your dad?" Edward laughed again. "That backyard shop? What do you fix there? Old sedans? Pickups? This is a Rolls-Royce, kid. You have no idea how complex it is." At that moment, 3 men in suits approached. They were Edward's business partners who were in the car right behind him and witnessed the entire scene. "Edward, what's going on?" asked Marcus, trying not to grin. "The Phantom broke down," Edward replied, embarrassed. "And this kid?" another partner asked, looking Lucas up and down with disdain. "He says he can fix it," Edward said. The 3 men burst into laughter. "This I gotta see," Marcus said, pulling out his phone to record. "The kid from the junkyard shop is gonna fix the luxury car expert's Rolls-Royce." "Make all the jokes you want," Lucas said calmly, a hint of challenge in his voice. "But if I fix it, how much will you pay me?" Edward looked at the boy surprised and amused. "You're challenging me?" "I'm offering a service. Every service has a price." "Fine," Edward crossed his arms. "If you, a 12-year-old, manage to get this $150,000 car running again, I'll pay you $350. The partners laughed even harder. $350? Edward, have you lost your mind? Relax, he won't do it, but it'll be entertaining to watch him try. Lucas showed no emotion. $500. What? Edward almost choked. $500 is a fair price for the work and for the public humiliation I'm suffering right now." Edward glanced at his friends who were still recording and laughing. This was already becoming social media content. "All right, kid, $500. But when you fail, you clean my car free for a month. Deal?" Lucas extended his grease-stained hand. "Deal." Edward stared at the dirty hand with disgust, but shook it anyway, purely for the show. "You may begin your little performance," he said, giving a sarcastic bow. Lucas didn't waste time. He ran to the garage and returned, dragging a toolbox that looked bigger than he was. He set it down beside the Rolls-Royce and popped the hood with surprising ease. "He's actually doing it," Marcus muttered, filming every move. Lucas dove into the engine like he knew every part by heart. His small hands moved with surgical precision, disconnecting hoses, checking connections, testing components. No hesitation, no wasted motion. "Come here," he said after a few minutes, pointing to a specific part. "Water pump seized, exactly like I said." Edward stepped closer, incredulous. The kid had diagnosed it correctly just from sound and smoke. "Diagnosing is easy," Edward said, trying to regain control. "Fixing is another story." "Watch," Lucas replied, simply. What happened in the next 15 minutes left everyone speechless. Lucas removed the water pump at an astonishing speed, cleaned components, replaced a part he'd brought from the shop, and reassembled everything with watchmaker precision. His fingers moved so fast it was hard to follow. "This is impossible," Marcus muttered, no longer laughing. "He's a kid," another partner added, genuinely stunned. "A kid who knows exactly what he's doing." Edward said nothing. He just watched, feeling something strange in his chest. Not admiration, he refused to admit that. Just confusion. How could this boy know so much? "Done," Lucas said, closing the hood and wiping his hands on an old rag. "You can start it now." "You really think?" Edward repeated, still disbelieving. "Start the car, Edward," Marcus urged. "Let's see if the kid's a wizard or a con artist." Edward slid behind the wheel, heart pounding. He didn't know whether he wanted the engine to start or to stay dead. He turned the key. The Rolls-Royce Phantom roared to life, smooth, powerful, exactly like the day it left the factory. Silence fell. Even the honking driver stopped to process what they just witnessed. "No, it can't be," Edward murmured, staring at the perfect dashboard readings. Lucas closed his toolbox. $500 as agreed. Edward stepped out, mind still reeling. His partners stood speechless, their phones still recording. "How?" Edward asked. "How did you learn to do this?" "My dad taught me," Lucas answered. "I've been working with him since I was 7. I've fixed over 200 cars." "You're 12. And how old are you? 40? 50? And you couldn't even diagnose your own car?" The reply hit like a slap. The partners laughed, but this time at Edward. "Pay the kid, Edward," Marcus said. "He earned it." Edward pulled out his wallet, still dazed. He counted out $500 in crisp bills and handed them to Lucas. Lucas counted the money again in front of everyone. "Thank you for the business, sir," he said, pocketing it. "Wait," Edward said, grabbing the boy's arm lightly. "Where did you learn about Rolls-Royces? These cars have cutting-edge systems." "I read. I have all the technical manuals at home. My dad always says knowledge doesn't take up space." "Technical manuals for Rolls-Royce, Ferrari, Lamborghini?" "Everything I can find online. I study every day after school." Edward looked at the grease-stained boy who had just earned $500 in 15 minutes, fixing a problem the dealership would take hours to solve, and he felt something he hadn't felt in years. Humility. "What's your name?" "Lucas Carter." "Lucas Carter," Edward repeated. "You impressed me today." "Thank you, sir." Lucas picked up his toolbox and started walking back to the garage. Edward watched him go, feeling that something fundamental had shifted inside him that day. He had been publicly defeated by a child, humiliated in front of everyone, yet strangely he felt no rage. "Edward," Marcus called, "did you see what I saw?" "I saw a 12-year-old fix a Rolls-Royce in 15 minutes. "No," Marcus showed his phone. "I saw this."
The video already had 15,000 views and was being shared furiously. People weren't laughing at Edward. They were amazed by Lucas. "The kid's going viral," Marcus said. "Look at the comments." Edward read a few. "This boy is a genius. Someone hire him to fix my car. Talent has no age." The rich guy had to swallow his pride. Edward closed his eyes. What should have been the most humiliating day of his life somehow felt like the day he learned the most important lesson. "Let's go," he said, climbing back into the now perfect Rolls-Royce. "I have work to do." But as he drove back to the office, he couldn't stop thinking about Lucas Carter, a name he would not forget anytime soon.
What Edward didn't know was that this encounter was only the beginning. Fate was about to weave their lives together in ways neither could have imagined. Lucas walked back into the small garage with $500 in his pocket, heart still racing from the adrenaline. His father, Thomas Carter, was underneath an old pickup truck, only his legs visible. The clank of tools echoed in the cramped space that served as both workshop and almost home for the two of them. "Dad, you're not going to believe what just happened," Lucas said, pulling out the cash. Thomas slid out from under the truck, face lined from years of hard work. At 42, he looked closer to 52. He wiped his hands on a rag and looked at his son with tired but loving eyes. "What did you do this time, son?" "I fixed a Rolls-Royce Phantom right on the street and earned this." Lucas held up the bills, still crisp and new. Thomas stared in disbelief. $500? "Lucas, where did you get this money?" "I swear, Dad, a Rolls-Royce broke down right in front of the shop. The owner was this arrogant rich guy who laughed at me. He bet I couldn't fix it. I did it in 15 minutes. Thomas took the money, counting the bills like they might vanish. "Son, this is 4 months' rent. This is food on the table for months. This is proof I taught you right," he finished, voice cracking. Tears welled in Thomas's eyes. He pulled Lucas into a fierce hug, pride and sorrow mixing inside him. Lucas was brilliant, gifted beyond measure, capable of things Thomas could never dream of doing himself. Yet all that talent was being wasted in a run-down neighborhood garage fixing beat-up cars for pennies. "You deserve more than this, Lucas," Thomas said, voice thick. "You deserve a real school, real teachers, college, not this greasy hole." "Dad, don't say that. You taught me everything. You're the best teacher I could ever have." "But I can't give you what you need. I can't pay for private school, technical courses, university." "We'll make it, Dad. With this money, we can start saving." Thomas nodded, wiping his eyes. "You're right. We'll save every cent. We'll make it last." What neither of them knew was that at that exact moment, Edward Harrington was in his luxurious office downtown, watching the video of Lucas fixing the Rolls-Royce explode across social media. It already had 500,000 views and was climbing fast. "This is unbelievable!" Emily Harrington walked into her father's office with her phone in hand. At 17, she was everything Edward had hoped for in a daughter, intelligent, beautiful, well-mannered, but lately she'd begun questioning his values more openly. "Dad, did you see the video? It's over 500,000 views now." "Did I see it?" Edward replied curtly, shuffling papers at his desk. "And you don't think it's incredible? A 12-year-old fixing a Rolls-Royce, that's pure talent." Edward sighed. He hated admitting it, but his daughter was right. The boy had something special, something Edward himself had never possessed despite all his millions. "What do you want me to do, Emily? Give him a trophy?" "I want you to recognize talent when you see it. That boy could work for you, learn more, grow." "He's 12. There are child labor laws, Emily." "You don't have to hire him. You could sponsor a course, a better school." "And why would I do that?" Emily looked at her father with disappointment. "Because you have the power to change his life, because you have enough money that you wouldn't even feel it, because it's the right thing to do." Edward fell silent. His daughter had an annoying habit of hitting exactly the sore spots. "I'll think about it," he said finally. "Don't think too long. Opportunities like this don't wait." Emily left the office, leaving Edward alone with his thoughts. He replayed the video, paying attention to every detail. The confidence in Lucas's movements, the surgical precision. This wasn't luck. This was years of practice, study, dedication. Then he noticed something he'd missed before. In the background of the video, for just a few seconds, the sign above the garage door appeared. Carter and Son, General Auto Repair. Carter and Son, Edward murmured. So the father really is a mechanic. He picked up his phone. James, he said to his personal assistant, I need you to look into a garage for me. Carter and Son. It's on the main avenue near where my car broke down today. I want a full report by tomorrow morning. How long they've been in business, financial situation, owner's history, everything. Yes, sir. Edward hung up and stared at the video again. It now had almost 1 million views. People were sharing, commenting, making edits. Lucas Carter had become an overnight internet sensation. That night, in the modest house Thomas and Lucas shared on the edge of the city, Thomas and Lucas were eating rice and eggs when Lucas's phone started blowing up with notifications. What's going on? Thomas asked, concerned. Lucas opened his phone and his eyes widened. Dad, the video from today has 1 million views. 1 million! How? People are sharing it everywhere. Look at the comments. Thomas read some aloud, incredulous. This kid is more skilled than most certified mechanics. Someone hire this boy before another country steals him. Our city wasting talent like always. I want to bring my car just so he can fix it. Son, this is serious. People are recognizing you. But that's good. It could bring more customers to the shop. Thomas was about to reply when someone knocked on the door. It was past 10 p.m., late for visitors. He opened it cautiously. A well-dressed woman in her 40s stood there holding a microphone, a cameraman behind her. Good evening, I'm Patricia Hayes from Channel 5 News. We're looking for Lucas Carter, the boy who fixed the Rolls-Royce today. Thomas froze. TV? How did you find our house? The video went viral, sir. We did some digging, found the garage, and neighbors pointed here. Could we do a quick interview with Lucas? I don't know. He's a minor. Dad, it's okay, Lucas said, appearing behind his father. I want to talk. Patricia smiled. Great, we can do it right here on the porch. It'll be quick. The camera rolled. I'm standing here with Lucas Carter, the 12-year-old who went viral today by repairing a Rolls-Royce Phantom in the middle of downtown. Lucas, how did you learn to do this? My dad taught me since I was little. He's the best mechanic there is. Thomas felt tears prick his eyes again. And how did you know exactly what to do on such a complex car? I study. I read technical manuals, watch videos, practice every day. Every car is a machine, and every machine has logic. You just have to understand how the parts work together. Do you plan to pursue a career in this field? Yes, I want to study mechanical engineering, maybe open my own company one day. But first, I want to help my dad grow the garage we already have. What would you say to people watching this? Lucas thought for a moment. The talent doesn't depend on money or fancy schools. It depends on dedication. My dad taught me that. He never had much, but he always had wisdom. The interview lasted barely 5 minutes, but when it aired on the late news, it created an even bigger wave. People didn't just admire Lucas's skill, they connected with his story of grit and family. Edward watched the interview alone in his massive living room. He listened to every word Lucas said about his father, the love, the respect. Something twisted in his chest, admiration mixed with envy. His own son, Nathan, had died 5 years ago in a car accident. He'd been the same age as Lucas. Since then, Edward had buried himself in work, piling up wealth while losing the ability to feel anything. Emily was all he had left, but he knew his coldness was pushing her away too. Dad, did you see the interview? Emily walked in. I saw it. And? And what? Don't you want to help, to do something? Edward stayed silent for a long moment. What do you want me to do, Emily? I don't know, but you have resources, connections, power. That boy has talent. Together you could what? You don't need him as a partner. He needs you. And why is that my problem? Emily looked at her father with sadness.
Because before you became this cold, calculating person, you were a good man. Remember when Nathan was alive? You said you wanted to leave a legacy, make a difference in people's lives. The mention of his dead son hit like a punch. Don't talk about Nathan. If anyone should talk about him, don't you think he'd be proud of what you've become? A man who has everything but shares nothing? Get out, Emily. Emily ran out, tears in her eyes. You're impossible, she said, running out. Edward stood alone again, shaking with rage and pain. He hated when Emily brought up Nathan, hated remembering the son he'd lost, hated feeling anything at all. But that night, when he finally fell asleep, he dreamed of Nathan. In the dream, his son was alive, smiling, playing with toy cars, and next to him was Lucas, showing Nathan how to take apart the little machines. Dad, Lucas said in the dream, Lucas is my friend. You're going to help him, right? Edward woke up sweating, heart pounding. 3 a.m. He grabbed his phone and reread the report James had sent him about Carter and Son. Established 15 years ago. Owner, Thomas James Carter, 42, widower. Wife died 3 years ago from health complications. One son, Lucas Carter, 12. Financial situation, precarious. Debts with suppliers, rent 3 months behind, outdated equipment, average monthly revenue, approximately $2,000. Neighborhood reputation, excellent, known for honesty and fair work. $2,000 a month. Edward spent more than that on a single dinner at upscale restaurants, and this man was raising a genius on that amount? He typed a message to James. Schedule a meeting with Thomas Carter tomorrow at my office. He hesitated before sending. What did he really want? Why was he doing this? He couldn't answer those questions, but he hit send anyway. James replied instantly. Yes, sir. Noon preferred? And sir, be polite when inviting. It's an invitation, not an order. Understood. Edward turned off the phone and stared at the ceiling. He felt he was about to make a decision that would change everything. He didn't know if it was good or bad, but for the first time in 5 years, it felt right. The next morning, Thomas received a call from an unknown number. Hello, Mr. Thomas Carter? Good morning. This is James Whitaker, personal assistant to Mr. Edward Harrington. Thomas nearly dropped the phone. Edward Harrington? The Rolls-Royce owner? Exactly. Mr. Harrington would like to invite you to a meeting today at noon in our office. Would that be possible? A meeting about what? About your son, sir, and about opportunities. Thomas looked at Lucas, who was organizing tools in the corner of the garage. Opportunities? Yes, sir. Mr. Harrington was deeply impressed by Lucas's talent and would like to discuss some possibilities. May I confirm your attendance? Thomas didn't know whether to trust it, but something in James' polite tone convinced him. Okay, noon. Where? James gave the address. Thomas wrote it down with shaking hands. Dad, who was that? Lucas asked when he hung up. It was the man with the Rolls-Royce. He wants to talk to us. About what? I don't know, son, but I think we're about to find out. At noon, Thomas and Lucas stood in front of the tallest, most luxurious office building downtown. Mirrored glass, security at the entrance, luxury cars in the valet line. They felt completely out of place in their clean but worn work clothes, hands still bearing permanent grease stains. Dad, I'm scared, Lucas whispered. Me too, son, but we're going in. The security guard stopped them. Can I help you? We have a meeting with Mr. Edward Harrington, Thomas said, trying to sound confident. The guard checked a list and nodded. 40th floor, elevator to the right. In the mirrored elevator, Thomas and Lucas saw their reflections, two ordinary working men in a world not built for them. But when the doors opened, James greeted them with a genuine smile. Mr. Carter, Lucas, welcome. Please follow me. They were led to a conference room with a panoramic view of the entire city. Edward stood at the window, back to them. Mr. Harrington, your guests have arrived, James announced, then left. Edward turned slowly.
For the first time, Thomas saw the man who had humiliated his son, but he also saw something unexpected in those eyes: remorse. "Mr. Carter, Lucas, thank you for coming," Edward said, gesturing to the chairs. "Please, sit. We have a lot to talk about." The conference room doors closed softly behind James. Edward Harrington sat down across from Thomas and Lucas, the city skyline sprawling behind them like a glittering promise. "First things first," Edward began, voice steady but softer than on the avenue that day. "I owe you both an apology. Yesterday I was arrogant, dismissive, and cruel. I judged your son by his clothes and his age instead of his ability. I was wrong, deeply wrong." Thomas shifted uncomfortably. "Mr. Harrington, Lucas did honest work. You paid what was agreed. No need for apologies." "There is," Edward insisted, "because I didn't just pay for a repair. I paid for the chance to humiliate someone I thought was beneath me. That shame belongs to me, not to you." Lucas met Edward's gaze directly. "We're poor, sir, but poor doesn't mean stupid. My dad taught me dignity costs nothing, and knowledge doesn't need a big wallet." Edward's lips curved to a sad smile. "Your dad taught you well, better than a lot of wealthy parents teach their kids." Silence settled, thick with unspoken pain. Edward opened a folder. "I had your garage looked into. Debts piling up, rent overdue, tools on their last legs, monthly income barely covering basics. That changes today if you'll let it." Thomas tensed. "What kind of changes?" Edward slid documents forward. "I want to invest, heavily. Modern equipment, full renovation, diagnostic computers, certification programs. Turn Carter & Son into the premier luxury auto service center in the city. I take 30% ownership, you keep 70% and full day-to-day control. Initial investment, $500,000 to start." $500,000? Thomas blinked. "To begin with. And Lucas gets a full scholarship to the best private academy in the city. Academics first, always." Lucas's eyes widened. "Why us? Why now?" Edward looked out the window, voice dropping. 5 years ago, I lost my son, Nathan. He was 12, your age, Lucas. He loved cars the way you do. Took apart toys to see how they worked, dreamed of being an engineer. A drunk driver took him from me. Since then, I've built walls, chased money, forgotten how to feel. Yesterday, watching you, I saw Nathan. I saw what he could have become. I can't bring him back, but I can give another father the chance to see his son soar." Tears slipped down Thomas's cheeks. Two grieving fathers, worlds apart, connected by the sharpest kind of loss. Lucas reached for his dad's hand. "Dad, remember what you always say? Pride shouldn't block progress." Thomas laughed through tears. "When did you get so wise?" "From the best teacher alive." He turned to Edward. "We accept, but with conditions. School always comes first for Lucas. We keep operational control. And if you ever disrespect my son again, deal's off, no matter the money." Edward extended his hand. "You have my word, and if I break it, take everything. The shop, the equipment, the clients. It's yours." They shook. A new family was quietly being born. Months of transformation followed, filled with sweat, laughter, setbacks, and miracles. Emily started showing up at the garage on weekends in old jeans, learning wrenches from Lucas. Marcus Reed, Edward's envious partner, tried to sabotage the partnership with fake inspections and pulled strings to get the shop temporarily shut down. But the neighborhood rose up. Hundreds of everyday people Lucas and Thomas had quietly helped over the years marched, protested, filmed videos. The injustice went mega viral. A judge granted emergency relief. Evidence surfaced proving Marcus had bribed officials. He was forced out, his shares sold at a loss. The reopened Carter & Son gleamed. Gleaming lifts, laser diagnostics, a training wing for at-risk youth. The sign now read, "Carter & Son, excellence in motion." in partnership with Harrington Imports. At the grand opening, Lucas, now 13 and top of his class, spoke to a crowd of hundreds. This place was never just about fixing cars. It was about fixing hope. My dad showed me honesty is worth more than profit. Edward showed me second chances can heal broken hearts. Talent doesn't care where you start, only where you're willing to go. Edward stepped up last, voice cracking. I came here thinking I was saving them. They saved me. They reminded me that real legacy isn't bank accounts or status. It's lifting others so they can shine brighter than you ever did. He looked skyward. Nathan, I hope you're watching. I'm finally proud of the man I'm becoming. Years later, Lucas graduated college with honors in mechanical engineering. Carter and Son grew into a network of 12 centers, each offering free training to kids from tough neighborhoods. Thomas and Edward ran the company side by side like brothers. Emily became a brilliant engineer, teaching weekend classes alongside Lucas, their friendship deep and unbreakable. One evening on the rooftop overlooking the city lights, the four of them stood together. "Best repair I ever made," Lucas said quietly. "Not the Rolls-Royce, it was helping repair a heart that had forgotten to hope. And in return, you repaired our whole future." Edward smiled, eyes shining. "And mine."